What's up, guys? Welcome to round number 11 of the Outport Racing League. Today, live and exclusive from the Kentucky Speedway. Very loose conditions out there on track today. A lot of people struggling with how slick things are getting. But hopefully we can get through this and have a good race. We can see a couple of cars on the screen now. That's Matt Burgess, Travis Massia and Caleb Finn. Looking like they've got a handle on the conditions at the moment. But for now, let's go down into the pits and join the boys for a pit party to see what it's like to drive around this track.
Three, 4, 5. Start looking for your sign.
Alright, so we're just going to back up here a little bit so we can be at the back of the pack.
Start looking for your sign. Start looking for your sign. Start looking for your sign.
Everyone to jump into the pits so we can get this pit party going.
Start looking for your sign.
My sign.
Start looking for your sign. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop on the sign.
Alright, we'll turn the radio on and hear when we're going to be going. League owner and operator Jaron Sanchez, yes.
Stop on the sign.
Pit party.
Folks, starting to roll already. Now, one thing that we do have to look for in these very slick conditions is wheel spin on the start. Wheel spin will be a big issue.
Slow car on bottom. Car inside. Two on your left.
Inside, 2 wide.
Clear inside. Clear inside. Car inside. Clear inside. Car inside. Clear inside.
I'm gonna gun it.
Car inside. Clear inside.
Alright, so we're at the back now.
Pace car in. Three, 2, 1, green.
Car outside. Still on the right.
Now we'll mute the radio again.
Still on the right. Still on the right. Still on the right. Clear outside.
You pretty much have to ride the brake the entire time that you're racing here today. There's no way that you can just lift the coast through the corner, at least not for me.
Car outside. Still on the right.
It's just how slick this track is right now.
Still on the right. Still on the right. 34.691. Still on the right. Clear outside. Car outside. Car inside. Clear inside. Car inside. Clear inside.
We saw Mark Bentic up there, putting himself into
Car
the wall
inside.
and going for a big spin there.
Still on the left.
But Travis Massey working our inside. Gonna let him
Still on
have
the
it.
left.
Still gonna put up a little bit of a fight here though.
33.333.
There's just no grip on this track whatsoever. We're going to be tight in and loose off because the car's just not going to turn in. We'll probably get too much turn off when we hit the gas. The throttle control will be the key, and making sure your tyres can last will be the secondary key here.
33.049.
They're very loose, tight all at the same time. Be some people running the apron. I would advise against that just because it burns up your tyres a little bit faster. The majority of people now are running the second or third lanes. No one really dipping down into that lower lane. Actually got a very nice exit off the corner there.
33.236.
Well, there's contact ahead. Two Brian's getting together, Harris and... oh no, that's Travis. Brian Harris just took out Travis. Thought it was Harrison Izakemi for a second there, but I was wrong. And that's actually allowed us to close up here on Frank.
Thirty-three point 448.
Let's see if we can at least get Frank before we pull into the pits again here.
33.604. Thirty-three point 251.
Doesn't look like we're going to be able to do it.
33.407.
So let's go into the pits this time. That is not a good way to get into the pits. Nice and easy pit entry though. Something that the boys will be loving.
Start looking for your sign.
No. Alright, so there we go. That is how you drive around here when it is super slick. You're basically racing on eggshells. Let's go through the field and see where everyone's at. We've got Matt Burgess so far on top with a 32.366. Thomas Harmon in P2, just a 0.058 of a second behind him. Then we've got Christian Budd in the 17 car. He's sitting in third. Pizzichemi is sitting fourth. Caleb Finn in fifth. Jonathan Hernandez in P6. Mark Pentecoff 7th. Travis Massier 8th, Frank Isaacson 9th, Harris in 10th, Corey Williamson is P11 and Chris Champo P12. That is how things are going at the moment. We go and have a look who is on track. We can see Thomas Harmon here. Looking like he got a little bit too high there coming up turn 4. Go into his gyro cam and have a look at how things are going for him. Thomas just feathering that throttle ever so slightly, and he's gotten it sideways. Nice save there. Yeah, he's also got a little bit of damage there on the right side fender. That could hamper him a little bit here, but shouldn't hamper him too much. Oh, he gets loose again coming up turn 4. Go back to the outside view. Who we got to look at now is the Travis Massier coming out of the pits. Oh, Caleb Finn going for a big drifty. And he's got it wrong, hitting the wall. Thomas Harmon got a little bit loose there as well. The 2 of Chris Champo up there against the wall. I got this 38 and a 78. Thomas Harmon and Brian Pizzichemi on the screen, 2nd and 4th on the standings so far. Pizzichemi going for a big dive up the inside of Thomas Harmon right now. They do have the same amount of laps on their tyres. It looks like Brian being able to look after his a little bit better than Thomas here. Thomas going sideways coming up turn 2. Somehow managing to keep it off of Pizzichemi, and then just backs it into the wall, into the Kentucky Speedway sign on the back straight. Thomas back into the pits. He'll come out fresh tyres and try again. There's Corey Williamson in the 81 car, just sitting on track behind Frank Isaacson here. Corey currently in 14th position. Frank currently P11. Oh, Corey's getting loose on the apron. We've got the 86 of Gerald West also going around. Thomas Harmon coming out of the pits, collecting Gerald. Chris Champo somehow managing to sneak past on both of them there. So that is a little bit of drama there for them with just 10.5 minutes left in this practice session. The league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez starting to make his way out of the pits. Let's go on board with his gyro cam and see how he gets on. Frank working the outside. Darren getting around him there. There's a face of determination right there. Not that you can see it through the helmet, but you know it's there. That lap for Jaron was a 33.407. So not too terribly good, but not too terribly bad either. Although when you consider the fast laps of the practice so far, it is pretty terrible. See what he does here on the second lap. $32,666. Not bad at all. Now we're going to go and have a look at Travis Massia and Frank Isaacson and Corey Williamson, and Chris Champo just took a big bite out of the wall coming out of turn 2. Chris definitely flirting with the wall there, especially coming out of turn 4. They'll get a lot of pace running that high line if he can run it consistently. But at the moment, it seems there's less grip out there than what there is down the bottom, where everyone is attempting to run. Let's just quickly bring up here to get into the chat box. Get them to do another pit party here. We should start seeing a few of these guys starting to slow up to get to the pits for the pit party. Alright, looks like we've got all of everyone in the pits. See people starting to make their way to the end of the pit lane. God rest his eye, ain't doing no stinking pit party. Making his way back out onto the track already. It looks like we're going to have Jonathan Hernandez as the pole car here for the pit party. "5.5 minutes left here in practice. Nice way to wrap it up before we go to the race. No one wants to catch up with him. And they're off and racing for the pit party. Two people spinning their tyres there again. Jonathan so far taking a commanding lead. I think I saw 3 wide there in the back, but I'm not going to go check it out because there is trouble here at the front. There's the 12 of Matt Burgess. I saw the 81 of Corey Williamson, but Caleb Finn and Chris Champeau has gotten a piece of that as well. I'm not sure who else was up there with them that got a piece of that. There was a lot of death and destruction right there. See if we can see a damaged car up here anywhere. 13 old Travis Massio is looking a bit flattened on that right side, which means that he's probably the one who was in the outside wall. All that kicked off. For the most part, it looks like these guys are racing quite well here, considering the looseness of how everything is, like just the track condition itself, how unpredictable it's going to be between loose and tight. Everyone is driving on that line edge quite well. As we see Frank Isaacson in the background going around. Close quarters here between Brian Harris and Thomas Harmon, as they're just sitting up there behind Darren Sanchez. The 13 of Travis Masia getting loose all by himself coming off turn 2, hitting the inside wall. We might see a little bit of that here today. Another hot spot will be this exit of turn 4. Cars getting loose and shooting across the infield grass. Brian Harris, to his credit, holding on pretty alright here. And he's not terribly slower than the guys in front of him as it stands, but he's not exactly falling behind either. Might only be 14th in the standings. But he's first in our hearts. I'm just kidding. He is doing a good job to hold on in front of Gerald West right now. And as I said, he's not exactly losing the tail of Thomas Harmon with any great pace here. Saying that, Thomas is caught up in a battle with Darren Sanchez right now. As we now have just about 1 minute left in the practice session here. We're going to duck away for a quick break while these guys go qualifying. And when we come back, we should be ready for gridding. So make sure you stick around for that. Alrighty guys, we are back. Qualifying is just ending right now. So just before we get into the starting grid, I'll draw your attention to the points chase at the moment. Only 3 races away from the cutoff to start the playoffs, and currently the gap between 12th and 13th is a mere 3 points. Travis Massier is 3 points behind Frank Isaacson, who's holding on to that 12th position. So there is that. So let's start going through the field now. On the pole, we have the 17 car of Christian Budd. Out of P2, we are going to have the 86 of Gerald West. P3 will be the 21 of Brian Chambliss. And P4 will be the 38 of Thomas Harmon. P5 will be the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. P6 will be the 12 of Matt Burgess. And we're going to have the 13 of Travis Massier out of 7th, with the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez out of 8th. P9 will be the 95 of Caleb Finn, with a P10 being the 81 of Corey Williamson. P11 will be the 2 of Chris Champeau, with P12 being the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. P13 will be the 99 of Dustin German, his outside, and P14 will be the 7 of Brian Harris. We're going to have the 78 of Brian Pizzicami out of 15th, and then the 24 of Frank Isaacson out of 16th. 17th will be the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux, and last but not least, the 18 of Brian Beach will wrap out the field starting 18th. As we're waiting for the field to start rolling here, ready for 100 laps here of the Kentucky Speedway, which will be a very loosey-goosey kind of affair. Pace lap. We should see the pace car head towards the infield, and we do. Adrenaline is starting to pour into their bodies. The hearts are starting to thump. We're going now. Green flag is out. Fairly even start from our front row here. It's all about who's going to get the better push from the person behind him, and it's not going to be the 86 of Gerald West, left out to dry on the outside there by Thomas Harmon, which is going to allow the 17 of Christian Budd to take away the lead of this race. Things are a little bit all over the place throughout the field, but it looks like the 86 Gerald West slotting himself into P2 there, coming up in the second corner, going very high through turn 4, as he is now under attack from the 21 of Brian Chambliss for that second position. We see now Gerald falls back to third, and he could be falling back to fourth here in a second, as he has Thomas Harmon up on his inside. Thomas backed off a little bit there, which allowed Gerald to get back up on the inside of the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Brian Chambliss now under attack from the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Just behind these guys, we've got a little bit of a battle going on as well. I saw the 12 of Matt Burgess on the inside, the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, Darren's been holding out strong on that outside line there for a couple of laps now. It looks like it's just going to start losing out for him here, as he now has to contend with the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Darren getting a slight momentum advantage on that high side, but it's not enough to keep him up into that position. As I alluded to earlier, these guys will all be racing on eggshells with how slick this track is right now. There'll be a fine balancing act of aggression and throttle control to try and get moves made and just to survive. You see the Ford John Sanchez still holding on strong on the outside of the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez there, not giving Jonathan any time to come up high and take the position away clean and clear. But it looks like Jonathan has now just cleared him, which means that Jaren's going to fall under attack from the 95 of Caleb Finn as we head into turn 3. Just behind them we have the 99 of Dustin German, looking very threatening in the mirrors of the 95 of Caleb Finn right now. Dustin, a man who is not afraid to get a little bit aggressive, could possibly see a 3-wide situation here. It looks like he's thinking better of it at the moment. In fact, he might have gone a little bit too deep into turns 1 and 2, as he's falling under attack from the 13 of Travis Massia. Travis running that higher line to make sure he can push Dustin right up high. But he's got to be careful doing that, because now he's under attack from the 7 of Brian Harris. We just move up ahead here a little bit. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez affecting a move on the 12 of Matt Burgess. Jonathan up into the 5th position and demote Matt back down to P6. We go back into check on our leaders now. It's still the 17 of Christian Budd in the lead, with the 86 of Gerald West in 2nd, Thomas Harmon 3rd, and Brian Chambliss in P4. Close hard combat going on here for these positions. I've been hearing through the grapevine that Derek Myers got pulled up in pre-scrutineering way back on yesterday, and he has a mechanical problem with the car that they could not rectify in time to get him onto the grid or even be allowed to practice. So that is why we are not seeing Derek Myers here in this race. That could be a big blow to the championship fight there for Derek Myers if he can't get his car back into a good legal form for next week, as we are only now 2 3/4 races away from the chase. I really want to go through and have a look at what's going on in the rest of the field, but I don't really want to look away. These three here at the front are so close that anything could happen. Like Gerald West going around the outside of Christian Budd, but not working out. He dives down low to try and get the undercut on him, trying to affect an over-under, as it is cold in the professional line of work. Could not get it to work out for him there. Just about did though. As we see now, Gerald making the more traditional inside line to try and affect the overtake. He gets his nose ahead. He's not quite clear of the 17, which means he had to wait on the throttle a little bit there going through turns 3 and 4. These guys are fighting pretty close right now. 17 of Christian Budd managing to hold on, and now they're going to have to deal with the 38 of Thomas Harmon, who's going to make it 3 wide on the inside. They've gotten the 17 of Christian Budd clear, and now Thomas fighting for the lead, giving a little bit of a bump there to Gerald West. Gerald rolling with the punches. They're going 3 wide again, coming off of turn 4. This can be a little bit of a sticky situation, especially if you're the car in the middle. Gotta make sure you give enough space to both the cars around you. And this is absolutely incredible that these guys are still 3 wide. Oh, and Thomas Harmon has gotten loose. Can he save it? He can. Well done, Thomas Harmon. But that was some incredible racing there on display by those guys, going 3 wide for almost a complete lap. Especially with how slick these conditions are. Going to go back up to the front now. And it's going to put Gerald West in the lead, Christian Budd in P2, Brian Chambliss now 3rd. Thomas Harmon has dropped all the way back to P4. But that has put a little bit of a stretch in the field at the moment. As we see up there at the front, as soon as I can click the right button, but the 17 of Christian Budd not done with the battle yet. Starting to just ever so slightly close in this gap on the 86 of Gerald West. Now Gerald wants to get a little bit of revenge here on Christian, because Gerald is a little bit sour that they got beaten by the league rookie last time out. Of course, Christian Budd came out here last week at Iowa and just absolutely dominated the race. And that definitely ruffled a few feathers. Especially in the SSR camp. But at the moment, Gerald West seems to have his measure coming through turns 1 and 2. In fact, Gerald had the fastest time for the last lap by a half a tenth. So by 5/100ths of a second. Looks like everyone's starting to get real flirty with that outside wall, so we're going to just open up the radio here and see if we can hear what these drivers are talking about as the grip starts to fall away from these cars. While we do that, we're also going to go through the field to see if we can see any battles going on. Brian Chambliss very shortly is going to be under threat from the 38 of Thomas Harmon. See the 12 of Matt Burgess, and it looks like he's going to be... Him and Jones seem to be working quite amicably here. Not really too much going on there. Go back and check out the 19 of Dustin Sherman, who is behind the 95 of Caleb Finn. Just behind them is Brian Beach and Travis Massier. Got the 2 of Chris Champeau in 11th, and he's going to have Brian Pizzicani on his tail.
Oh my god.
Oh, and it looks like we have some extreme multi-dimensional experimentation going on here. For the 86 of Gerald West running on the inside of the track. I'm not sure what's happened to Gerald. He might have gotten loose some point. So that's going to be Gerald all the way down into 16th now. He's 17 of Christian Budd back into the lead of this race. But that experimentation that he's doing with the alternate dimensions could take its toll. Thomas Harmon has made his way around the 21 of Brian Chandler, and in fact, very shortly looks like Brian could be under attack from the 12 of Matt Burgess. As Matt's just looming ever so slightly in the mirror of Brian Chambliss there. We're just going very quickly here. Set iRacing to focus on crashes, just to see what iRacing thinks is a little bit exciting here. We can see the 13 of Travis Masia behind the 99 of Dustin German. Dustin looking like he's just been losing a little bit of position here and there. He lost one to Brian Beach on the previous lap. They might be running out of tyres here. Here's Brian Beach as I say his name. Just sitting there behind the 95 of Caleb Finn. These guys are in 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th positions. Behind them there's a little bit of a battle going on too between Brian Fizikemi and Chris Champeau. For the most part it looks like these guys are kind of sorted as we go back up to the leading battle now. 38 of Thomas Harmon has just been closing in on Christian Budd ever so slightly, but not to the point of where he's going to be trying to effect an overtake here anytime soon. The difference in the last lap was about 0.03 of a second to the favour of Thomas Harmon. 33.712 to a 33.680. Tell both of these guys are pushing very hard here. Both of them flirting with that outside wall coming off turn 4. Taking all the advantage they can with the apron on the front straight. Thomas is not one who would want to give up this lead lightly. The Chris Champeau is in the pits right now. Not sure whether he drove in there or whether he was forced to go in there. I think he might have driven in there. Has gone a lap down. But he's going to have some fresh tyres on that wagon. Looks like at the moment this is all going to be just between Christian Budd and Thomas Harmon, with Gerald West still buried deep in the field, all the way down in 14th position. I didn't notice this before, but it looks like we've lost Tommy Bordeaux and Jonathan Hernandez. Didn't see what happened to either of those drivers. But they are definitely gonzo from the race. As now Thomas is close enough where he could probably start looking like he wants to make a move. Right on board with Thomas's gyro cam here. See Christian there just in front of him. I'm loving the gyro cam. See if we can see what's happening out the back of Thomas's car here. We can see it. We're on the corners. Brian Chambers and Matt Burgess battling out behind Thomas here. Thomas now right on the tail of the 17 of Christian Budd. Let's see if we can be on board for the possible overtake. You see these cars just wagging their tails a little bit on corner entry there. Hear the throttle control where Thomas started to burr up the tyres a little bit in turns 1 and 2. Looks like Matt Burgess has made his way to the pit lane now. Chris Champeau is actually still in the pits, so something might be pretty majorly wrong there with Chris. Matt Burgess has made his way to his pit stall, and Thomas is actually coming into the pits right now. So that's not something that we were expecting. Thomas is indeed in the pits. He's going to have some fresh tyres when he comes out, but that's going to leave Christian Budd well and truly in control of this race. So at the moment, as it stands, we've got Christian Budd, Brian Chambliss, Jaron Sanchez, Caleb Finn, Brian Pizzicami, Travis Asia, Mark Pentecoff, Frank Isaacson, and Gerald West as your top 9. Big Christian Budd making his way through turn 4. I think that was a pretty smart move there by Thomas. Knowing that his tyres are going off, as we were inside his car, seeing him slipping and sliding around a little bit. Definitely going to put him in a great position tyre-wise right now. So he could actually affect the overtake here by pitting these couple of laps early. But in saying that, it means that he's going to have worse tyres over the longer run. But now with all this clean air in front of him, Christian is singing the praises of everyone. And saying that Thomas Harmon on his fresh tyres is definitely coming. He's just done the fast lap for the race, a 32.140. And just like that, Christian Budd is making his way to the pits now. And this is going to leave Brian Chambliss in control of this race. There is 6 drivers who have not pitted yet. That's Chambliss, Pizzicami, Mark Pentecoff, Frank Isaacson, who I think is just coming to the pits now, Gerald West, who's just coming to the pits now, and Brian Harris. Also Corey Williamson in the 81. As Thomas now makes his way around Brian with his fresh tyres. Keep an eye on Thomas here, see where he comes out in relation to Christian Budd. In fact, Christian says he's in 3rd here, a lap down. So let's go and see if we can focus on Christian here. He's just come out of the pits. And he is 20 seconds away from Thomas Harmon. That is how effective the new tyres are. 20-second gap, and that was 5 laps difference. Now Brian Chambliss might be trying to run long here, because history shows that on these long runs, if you are ballsy enough to stay out, then you could be rewarded with a caution. That's as Derek Myers found out just a few weeks ago. See Brian Harris making his way out of the pits now. We only have 4 cars who have not pitted. That's Brian Chambliss, Brian Pizzicami, Mark Pentecoff, and Corey Williamson. I've just noticed that even Matt Burgess has jumped Christian Budd in the pit stop cycle. Christian now trying to work his way around the inside of Brian Chambliss, affects the overtake in turns of 1 and 2, putting himself back onto the lead lap. The one bad thing about Brian Chambliss going this long is that with everyone else getting the undercut, it's going to severely hamper him when he comes back onto the track here. Comes into the pits. Corey Williamson was also in the pits. And I think Brian Pizzicami is actually staying out here. In fact, he has stayed out. So has Mark Pentecoff. I think these guys are trying to make it to halfway.
Putting in this time.
Nope, he is not. He's going into the pits this time. That was him who just spiked up on the radio. Let's see if Mark's gonna pit. And Mark is coming into pit. These guys must have been on the absolute limits of their fuel. And this is going to cycle the 38 of Thomas Harmon back into the lead of the race. So as it stands right now, Thomas has a 2.5 second gap over Matt Burgess. Don't worry about the standing sticker there, guys. It'll update next time around on the line. It just gets a little bit dicky when people are still in the pits. So the big loser out of all that was Brian Chambliss, who lost 9 positions down in P11 after being up there in the top 5 for the majority of the race. Thomas Harmon is now officially the leader of the race. Matt Burgess P2, Christian Budd P3. But even there, Christian has lost out a little bit as well, with just a slight difference in pitting in. He has gained a lot of the gap back, but still, it was quite a large gap that he's had to cut down here. Having a look at the lap times, he is still running faster laps than Thomas. Thomas could be saving his tyres a little bit here, waiting for the battle to come to him. I know Thomas is really good at saving tyres, but can he save tyres at a track that just seems to be chewing tyres up like they're nothing? And it looks like we've also lost Chris Champeau from the race, so we have 3 DNFs right now. Chris Champeau, Jonathan Hernandez, and Tommy Bordeaux. So we're going to set iRacing here really quickly to focus on crashes to see if it will show us anything good. And we are immediately presented with Brian Beach in P4, holding up the 95 of Caleb Finn, and coming up to the lap down car of Brian Harris in the 7. Harris has fresher tyres than both these guys, so he could be pulling away here a little bit. But still, Brian Beach and Caleb Finn 4th and 5th, with Jaron Sanchez in P6, 3 seconds back from this battle. Having a quick little look at the standings here. Doesn't look like Christian Budd exactly catching up too terribly much, although I am actually wrong. Christian Budd in P2, Matt Burgess P3, Dustin German. But Dustin has just fallen out of the race as well. So we now have 4 DNFs in the race. We see Thomas has made his way around the 5 of Mark Pentica. Mark trying to get his lap back, but he doesn't have to face the wave around. The caution was to come out. We're also officially halfway in this race, 50 down and 50 to go. Back, make that 49 and a quarter. We head to turn 4. Mark just can't get his lap back from Thomas. Does not have the pace to do it. Something else that I've been noticing is Christian Budd is definitely closing that gap between himself and Thomas, with Thomas trying to deal with the 5 of Mark Pentica here. Every time Mark gets a little bit of a sniff to the inside of Thomas, Thomas has to run a little bit wider to allow Mark the space. That's actually been allowing Christian to catch up. So we could have a fight here yet. For the moment, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And maybe when we come back, we are going to have a battle for the lead here. So make sure you stay tuned. Alright, we are back live, and we do in fact have a change for the lead. We saw, well, you didn't see, but I did, Christian Budd work his way around the outside of Thomas Harmon there to get the pass made. Go back a couple laps here to see if we can see how it happened. Christian just far too strong here on the outside of Thomas. Those 5 laps definitely made a difference to the tyres. Christian just powering away from there. Thomas getting a little bit loose there on turn 4. Didn't exactly help his cause either. Now Thomas again is under pressure from the 5 of Mark Pentecost. Thomas is fighting tooth and nail now to try and stay in the draft of Christian Budd here. But it's going to be hard with him battling it out with the 5 of Mark Pentecost. Mark now finally gets his position over Thomas, but he is still lost out on getting his lap back by virtue of Christian Budd getting around the both of them. Christian is definitely a fast driving maniac right now, in a 33.4 compared to Thomas Harmon's 33.8. So nearly a half a second there difference between Thomas and Christian. Thomas is not exactly a slow driver. In fact, Thomas does have the fast lap of the race, but to be 4/10 difference with only 5 lap different tyres, that is absolutely incredible. Thomas must really be struggling with the way that this car is handling right now for him to be that far behind Christian. And the gap is already out to over a second between Thomas and Christian.
Not bad. Thank you, appreciate it.
As we've got some pleasantries going on here between the 21 of Brian Chambliss and the 18 of Brian Beach. Brian Beach allowing Brian Chambliss to get the position over him. That's P4 for Chambliss, P5 for Brian Beach. I still maintain there's too many Brians. They're still working on the back of the lap down car of Brian Harris. So in case you want to get a little bit more confusing, we got Brian, Brian and Brian, but the first Brian is a lap down. And the only one that's spelt different out of the 3 of them is the 21 car of Brian Chambliss, spelt with an I, while the other 2 were spelt with a Y. It looks like we might actually have Gerald West in the pits again here. Either that or we've lost him from the race. Not sure what's happened to Gerald, but definitely looks like he is in the pits. Now we're going to go back to having a look at the front of the pack to see what's going on. Mark Pentecost is definitely not losing sight of Christian Budd here at all. Christian maintaining his lead over Thomas, in fact extending his lead over Thomas. Mark Pentecost here with the fastest time for the last lap of 33.465 has just been holding on to Christian's draft here, not exactly letting him go. Mark's definitely trying to make sure that he's in the best position for the lucky dog if the caution was to come out. But whether it does or not is something that we just have to wait and see. Guys overhead of myself starting to turn that dark color again for the second week in a row. So I can make some precipitation. Matt Burgess has come in for his pit stop as well.
18 on standby.
Sounds like
18 put in
Brian
standby.
Beach is going to be coming in for a pit stop. We're going to close up the radio channel here again. Or else we're going to just get flooded with people coming into the pits. Ryan Chambliss is in the pits as well now. He had some pretty fresh tyres on that automobile. We could actually be seeing people coming into the pit for the run home now. Can make it if you pit now. Making the two-stop strategy the rock solid option. And in fact, I think Thomas Harlan probably heard me and he's come into the pits as well. There's just 4 people left on the lead lap who haven't come in for their pit yet. Christian Budd's one of them, but he's coming in now. The Thomas gets stop time here. Thomas with a long stop. That's not good for Thomas. In fact, I think Thomas out of the race. OUT out. So what I thought was going to be a thrilling end to this race, an epic battle between Thomas and Caleb Finn. We've been sadly mistaken and Thomas is out of the race. Last season's champion, sorry. OUT out. At the moment, this is actually going to leave Caleb Finn in the lead, who is coming into the pits. Brian Pizzicami, P2, he's coming into the pits as well. 24 of Frank Isaacson was battling with Mark Pentecuff in the 5. They're both staying out. And I'm hearing from the pits that Thomas actually came a gutser coming off of turn 2. It broke loose, he caught it, it broke loose again and hit the wall. So that is the end of Thomas's race. That is why he was in the pits and did not come back out. At the moment, our leaders of the race, the 5 and the 24 of Mark Pentecuff and Frank Isaacson. Both of them still staying out at the moment, with Christian Budd right behind them on his fresh tyres. is going to overtake them and come down back to the lead. Gets around Frank with the utmost of ease. Now he's going to get around Mark with just as much ease as what he did with Frank. This is going to put him clean and clear in the lead of this race. His next real rival will be the 12 of Matt Burgess, back and forth, nearly 6 seconds back off the lead. So this has been an absolute domination here for Christian Budd. Let's see if he can hold it, and let's see if we can continue to go caution-free for this race. And judging by the way that Thomas has crashed, it's amazing that we haven't had a caution yet. We do have 5 DNFs from this race, but none of them have brought out a caution. Although I'm assuming that all of them have been from wall contact, getting loose, especially coming off turn 2, hitting in either the inside or the outside walls. Maybe the only reason why Christian's winning, because it looks like it's all doom and gloom outside my window. So it could just be whenever the broadcast is on and the weather is looking like it's going to rain, Christian's going to get the win. Because it's 2 weeks in a row now that it's looked all doom and gloom outside, and Christian is in the lead of the race. So let's go and get my racing and focus on crashes again. See who it wants to have a look at. It's been loving Brian Beach. Looks like we've made our way up to Brian Chambliss and Matt Burgess now. These two are actually very close to going around the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. So the battle is on for second. Matt Burgess takes the position away. Brian Chambliss still going with him. They go around the outside of Mark Pentecoff. Mark on very old tyres here, 37 lap old tyres. Gonna have to come into the pits soon, because I don't know how much longer those tyres are gonna last for him. Well, Mark getting a little bit loose there coming off the final corner. But now things settled out. As they've gotten past the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. Frank is coming for his pit stop now. But Christian Budd was starting to work on some lap traffic. But the 81 of Corey Williams in front of him, already 1 lap down. Corey up into the wall in turn 3 to allow Christian the room to get underneath him. Corey Williamson actually experimenting with alternate dimensions there. Maybe trying to find one where he's not 2 laps down. But unfortunately, that is not this existence that we're in right now. Looks like Corey Williamson's actually been having quite a hard time in the official side of racing here on iRacing. He's gone down to an 823 B-Class 1.82 license. Next on the list of Christian blood victims will be the 13 of Travis Masia, down in 10th position. So we only have the top 10 on the lead lap right now. We have 16 laps left to run in this race. The big battle on the field is actually for P2 between the 21 and the 12. So who's going to have the 1 + 2 = 3? Who's going to end up with the 1 × 2 = 2? At the moment, it looks like Matt Burgess holding on to the advantage over Brian Chambliss, as Mark Pentecoff has finally made his pit stop. He's going to go a lap now. We're only going to have 9 cars left on the lead lap. We've just clicked over to 14 laps to go in this race. Mark Pentecoff has now officially gone a lap down. Caleb Finn is up into 5th, and Jared Sanchez P6, and Daryl West, after having those issues earlier, up into 8th. Travis Masia is in P9. Brian Pizzakemi actually with the freshest tyres here out of the top 9. 16 lap hold tyres. 17 as he comes across the line. It's just mind-boggling to me that we've had 2 races in a row that have gone completely green flag, no cautions. And yes, I'm saying that out loud to try and jinx it, because I want to close this field up a little bit for the run to the finish. I'm not going to do anything to cause an artificial yellow, because that would not be cricket. The only time we're going to have caution flags is when it's completely natural. Looks like this battle is starting to fizzle out as well. And Burgess just pulling away ever so slightly from Brian Chambliss here. So we're going to go back to focusing on crashes to see where iRacing thinks is interesting. See here, battle of Gerald West and Travis Masia. Travis diving to the inside of Gerald West right now. Takes the 8th position away. Also got the 5 of Mark Pentecoff there on the fresh tyres. Around the inside of both of them as well. Mark getting the move made. Not going to advance in position, but definitely keeping him ahead of these guys on the older tyres. This is now going to start his march towards the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. Oh, Gerald West! He's held on to it. He got loose coming off turn 2. He did manage to save it. That was very close to disaster there. And this is actually going to put Gerald at risk of going a lap down himself. See the 17 of Christian Budd just here behind Gerald. Christian just been absolutely on pace this entire race. He's not put a single foot wrong. Going to spend some time inside his car just to hear the throttle control he's applying to this race. We hear him get just very slightly loose, but he uses it to his advantage coming off turn 4. Not scrubbing his tyres there very much at all. Now it's very smooth and silky. Light little bit of oversteer there, but he's very calm and controlled on the wheel. Not soaring at it to try and keep it to go straight. We now have 5.5 laps left to run. Five to go at the line this time. Anyone going to be able to stop this man from completely and utterly dominating the races in the future? I think we're going to have to wait and see. Four laps to go now as he crosses the line. Catching up to the tail of Gerald West still. He's pulled in within a second of him. Seems like he's mostly fighting the loose coming off of turn 4 rather than turn 2 like everyone else. Gerald's definitely not going to be happy at going a lap down to Christian Budd. Christian, our highest I rating driver in the league right now. 56-12 I rating. A-class 3.82. As we come now to start the final lap of the race, Christian Budd has a 12-second gap over Matt Burgess. No one is going to be able to stop this man. Comes around turn 4 for the final time. Getting a little bit loose. Here's your winner, Christian Budd in the 17. Here's your battle for second coming off turn 4. And it's going to be Matt Burgess. Third place is going to go to the 21 of Brian Chambliss over Brian Beach. Caleb Finn in the 95 car. Gonna finish in 5th. And here is the celebration by Christian. 2 in a row winner. He spins out through the grass in the Legends Oval. Alright guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break here, and when we come back, we are going to have the driver interviews. Alrighty guys, we are back, and we are gonna do our hard charger award here. Our hard charger for today is a man that I wish we could speak to more often, but we never really get the chance. A man that I usually end up taking out in practice. Of course, we are talking to the 24 of Frank Isaacson. Frank, congratulations on receiving the Hard Charger Award. Was this expected?
No, actually, it wasn't. I'm not very good at this track.
Now, it was a very difficult track today. I was out there in practice with you guys a little bit earlier on, and the track's very loose and harsh on tires today.
Yeah, I just kind of told myself I was going to take it easy, and for once, I actually did.
Well, we're having a look at the start here in the replay, and You were definitely taking it easy, three wide in the middle of Brian Beach and Brian Pizzakemi there. That was a very interesting start there.
Well, you go where you can.
All right, man. Now, one thing that I always love talking to you about is on your car you have Autism Speaks. Can you tell the folks at home a little bit about what that uh, is entailing?
It's just a kind of just raising awareness for autism. I have a 4-year-old son that's autistic, and I just showing support.
All right, man. We got Indianapolis next week. We're 2 weeks away from playoffs, and if I'm not mistaken, you are still looking pretty good for your chance to get in there by virtue of you out Mark today. So, what do you reckon your chances are of A, making it into the chase, and B, and maybe being a little bit of a dark horse contender?
Well, I think it's the top 12, and I'm 12th right now, so I don't know. It's kind of if
I'm just having a look right now, mate, and as of the start of this race, you were 3 points in front of Travis Massia, and Mark Pentecoff another 10 points behind him. So things are definitely looking pretty damn close for you guys. Travis did get you today, so you might have just slipped down to 13th, but still, man, not a bad effort so far by yourself.
I guess I'm looking at last week's. I don't know if it's been updated or not.
I don't think it has been updated yet, but it should be getting updated within the next 10 minutes or so, so we'll be able to keep a track of it there. But Indianapolis next week, mate. What's the feeling heading into probably the most famous oval in the world?
I'm okay there. I'm a mid pack driver, so I'm usually right about top 10 ish or 15 ish.
All right, man. Well, while we got you up in the booth, anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Everybody that puts this league on, you, Jaron, I'm having a blast.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations on the Hard Charger Award, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you. I will see you then.
All right, guys. So that was Frank Isaacson, the 24 car. Today's Hard Charger for the race. Coming up next, we're going to have our third place driver, a man that we always love to get into the booth and have a bit of a chat to. We are going to be talking to the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Brian, welcome back to the booth.
Hey, Corey, it's good to be back.
Now, mate, I want to talk about the running long strategy there in that first stint. I got a little bit worried for you because you dropped so far back. What was the plan?
Well, really, I just kind of wanted to do something a little different. I knew I didn't have anything really for Christian or Thomas on that, so I was like, I thought we had dropped off a little more, so I was like, if I stay out here just a little bit here, maybe I think I had 15 lap fresher tires than those guys. I was like, I'm gonna be hard to hold back. So I was like, yeah, maybe we'll try that and then see what happens. But turned out to be the wrong thing, and then I got back there, and I think it was Dustin German came off the wall. He got tight, and I tried to drive it down the inside, and he just hooked my right rear a little bit, slowed me down, and then from then on, it was just me trying to fight for third. I thought I was going to be able to get to Matt, but um, I had burned my tires up trying to recover from getting slowed up there. But luckily, I was able to hold off Brian Beach because he was coming in a hurry there those last 10 laps.
Oh, you and Brian had a really close finish there. I was actually surprised that you were able to hold him off. What was it like? Trying to battle against a bloke who can't spell your first name right.
I know, right? I'm the only one here that spells it right, but yeah, I kept looking at the relative. I was like, man, that thing is shrinking in a hurry, and I'm doing what I can and trying to keep the car underneath me. And um, I saw he was running the low line, so I tried to get down there and maybe put some dirty air on him, but he was still coming up. It may have even helped him draft up more, but I was like, well, it's going to be harder for him to drive off if I take a little bit higher line there. And so that's kind of what happened there. He was able to get under me into one, and I kind of gave him the bottom there, but ran in the second lane, not giving him a whole lot of room on exit to track out. So it's kind of what happened there, just why I could hold my momentum. But he drove a good race. He saved his tires a whole lot better than I did. That's for sure. He almost deserved that one, but I'm not going to give it to him.
All right, man. Now I'm just having a quick little look at the updated points situation here, and you are definitely in a great position here, up in the P10 after being 11th last week. So 2 weeks to go until the playoffs. What's the feeling heading into Indianapolis? Like, is that going to change the way that you race, or are you just going to keep driving the same old way and maybe try and have a run at this championship?
I mean, I missed a couple races earlier, so that set me back. But I think if I keep racking up these top fives, um, we'll be pretty good. I think I only missed the top five of all my starts once. I think that was last week. But I mean, I think I keep cracking off those top fives there. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to catch those guys up front, but we're gonna give it a shot. That's for sure.
All right, man. Well, while we got you up here in the booth, anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jaron for putting this thing on. There's a lot of good guys here. I enjoy racing with them. It's always fun. A lot of these guys are real clean racers, and that's how I like it. I enjoy to being race clean. So I'd like to thank you for putting on this broadcast. Heard you I think you got affiliated this last week or maybe the week before, which is pretty cool. Or partnered. I'm not sure what the term Twitch uses it, but um, congratulations on that. I'd like to thank my wife for letting me do this stuff, and that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, man. Congratulations on P3, and we look forward to seeing you same bat time, same bat channel next week at Indianapolis.
Yep, we'll be here. It's my home track, so hopefully I get a little good luck charm out.
All right. Well, congratulations, man, and see you next week.
We'll see you then.
All right, guys. So that was our third place getter here tonight, Brian Chambliss. Amazing effort for him to get up in there and manage to get back into the top 3 position. Coming up next, we have the man, the myth, the legend, a guy that we usually talk to quite a bit, but we haven't really had a chance to talk to him all too much in the past few weeks. We are definitely talking to the reverse, the mirror image of Brian Chambliss here, the 12 of Matt Burgess. Matt, congratulations on P2, man. How was your race?
Pretty uneventful. It's yeah, you haven't talked to me all season except for the last 2 races, so finally getting up there and finishing decent. For me, I was more concerned about saving that right front because I knew it'd burn off pretty quick if you got into it too much. But Brian there was catching me pretty quick, so I was hoping he was burning his tires off to catch up to me, and we talked a little bit, and he had kind of gotten into some incident with someone else, so he fell far enough back that hurt him. Didn't help me either that I mowed the grass on the front stretch there one time.
Well, you're not supposed to mow the grass, man. I know these cars are excellent at mowing grass, especially at NASCAR tracks. You're not supposed to do that, mate. Come on.
Yeah, I just did it one time, so someone had to do it.
All right, man. Now I'm having a quick little look at the points here. You're P3 overall at the moment, so that's going to put you in some good standing there for the playoffs in a couple of weeks. Coming into Indianapolis, are you just trying to hold on and just get some decent but not spectacular results? Or are you going to try and get those wins and try and make a run for that championship?
I'm gonna try to get wins. That's all I'm working on. And I did some practice. Initially we had talked about doing this like a night race, so I'd practice a bunch of nights here, but talked with Jaron a little bit, and it was pretty much drove exactly like Iowa, and it didn't seem like it fair to the guys to put them in the same exact same type of race 2 weeks in a row. So we switched it to an afternoon race, and it definitely changed it up quite a bit. It was completely opposite than what Iowa was. So, but it was still a lot of fun, and we still went green all the way.
Yeah, two green flag races in a row, and also two absolute dominations by Christian Budd. Uh, Amazing driver and amazing races all around. Although there was at least 5 or 6 times we could have gotten a caution here. So how does having such a wild card come in and start dominating like this? Change things for you.
I'm starting to practice more. Before, I'd take the hour practice before the race and do it, and I pretty much only run this league right now. So actually, that's why I practice this time to get the line down for this race, and I'll be doing it for the other ones because you can't get away with just showing up with no practice and running these and running well with these fast guys that are in here now. So now I actually gonna have to work at it now.
All right, man. Well, while we get you up here in the booth, anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Shout out to all the guys for we did have some accidents, but they weren't serious enough to bring out a yell for doing two green flag races in a row. That's great. Shout out to Jaron, of course, for running the league, and you know, even though like we said, we had it scheduled for a night race, realizing that it was too much like the previous race that we had to change it up. So appreciate that because it would get boring if we had the same race at the same time. You for the broadcast as always, and then to viewers out there, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for coming out and supporting the league as always. And congratulations on P2. We look forward to seeing you again next week at Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna enjoy that race. I do enjoy Indy, so hopefully I can maybe pull off a win.
All righty, man. Well, congratulations again. And we'll catch you next week.
All right.
Alrighty, guys. So that was the 12 of Matt Burgess, today's second place getter after, mowing the grass. It's not often that you can hear someone mowed the grass and then still manage to finish in the top lot. But there you go. Matt was able to do it. Coming up next, he's still technically a rookie, but, he's showing all the experience on track of a seasoned veteran. We are, of course, talking to today's winner, the 17 of Christian Budd. Christian, we've had two green flag races in a row. You've had two races with us here in the league, and you've absolutely dominated both of them. How do you feel, man?
Yeah, definitely happy with the finish. Thought the race was good, especially that early run. A lot of hard battling there. And it's kind of natural as these things go green that they're spread out a little bit. But all in all, no complaints.
There was a little bit of tire strategy going on there towards the end of the first stint. You came in about 5 laps after Thomas did, and even though it didn't look like it was going to work out for you to begin with, you managed to close in that gap and overtake him like he was standing still there. Was that a part of the plan, or was that just you know something that you were just thinking of in the moment, making it up on the spot?
Yeah, well, really, I guess it was after last week, and I pit a few laps before Thomas did, and thought, the time I'd put on him on those new tires would easily, you know, keep enough gap for me to pull away, and it didn't work out that way. And so this week I thought, well, maybe there's something to that, and I thought, well, I'll just try and stay out a little bit longer and have those fresh tires. And two, with this track, there's a little bit of draft in play and things, and I thought with the other cars I could draft up to them. But actually, it really didn't work out that well because I had a pretty big lead on him. I think when he pit, and I don't think I ever got quite back as much as I've lost over the course of that. So it worked out, but it probably wasn't the best strategy move.
Right, man, now let's talk about late in the race there. Unfortunately, Thomas did drop out of the race, so you're just left to battle it out with all the lap cars that you're coming up to. What was it like trying to get around the lap traffic in what was a very trying racetrack?
Yeah, everybody was courteous. They left plenty of room. I didn't really feel that that I had to do a whole lot there. Um, mainly I just didn't want to get caught up in somebody losing control and me being a victim, or you know even really just forcing somebody to feel like they needed to battle harder to stay on the lead lap and things. So I was trying to run easy, and the gap was at that point. The main thing was going to be, was there going to be a caution? If the caution came out, then it would have been a totally different race.
All right, man. Now we got Indianapolis next week. What is your feeling as we start getting into the crunch time for some of these chase drivers and going to a track like Indianapolis?
It's a track that gets a kind of a bad rap, but it's one of my favorites. I love Indianapolis. I've been there in person a lot of times, and I think it's a pretty neat track with these cars, and being able to draft and things kind of adds in a little bit of a different element to it. So those guys, I don't think they're going to be able to lay down. I think it's going to be a dogfight there, especially with it being pretty narrow.
All right, man. Well, while we get you up here in the booth, anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Once again, Output Racing, Aussie Sim commentator for doing these. You're doing a great job, and really appreciate that. And the only other one thing to my little guy Landon, he's sick tonight, so hopefully he feels.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on the win. Hopefully, your little dude there can get better very quickly, and we look forward to seeing you again next week in Indianapolis.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. So that was our winner today, Christian Budd. Uh, Emphatic winner. Absolutely dominated the race. But with that interview being over, this is going to be the end of the broadcast for this week. Now, as we've been alluding to, the points chase is definitely heating up. We do have the updated points. P10 is Brian Chambliss, 97 points off the lead. But more importantly, Brian is 12 points above the cutoff line for the chase. Now, Frank Isaacson does maintain his 12th position, but he is, he's on the bubble. He's in the place of the most danger. Charles Becker lost 3 positions here in this race, and he's 11 points behind Frank at the moment, down in 13th. But he's still in with a chance. We've got 2 weeks left. We've got Indianapolis and Atlanta before we get into the chase. So things are definitely going to start heating up. And then we got the 5 races of the chase to the championship. It looks like we're going to be ending off at Chicagoland. But we've got Indy and Atlanta to take us there before we start the chase. So until next week, guys, when we are going to be at the world famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. And until next time, I guess it's just ciao for now.